Welcome to our yoga class. We're going to do a gentle class today that is beginner friendly and all that jazz. So, some props that could be handy. I have blocks, blanket, strap, chair. Could also have a pillow as well. So find yourself in a comfortable position, whether that be coming to a comfortable seat or maybe coming to lie on your back. That's a lovely way sometimes to start class. And we'll just start by allowing ourselves this moment to settle in, tune in to our breath, and take a moment to acknowledge yourself for carving out this special time and special place to be present. Just begin to bring awareness to your thoughts and notice, just like cleaning, sweep away any dust, any particles. You can just allow them to settle. Imagine yourself sweeping them away for now. In this series, we've been exploring the yamas and the niyamas, and actually, I am also reading Deborah Adele's new book, which I highly recommend, called The Kleshas. But I don't have a quote from The Kleshas, but she does talk about in that book just sort of how we get in our own way and how actually yoga is about this idea of stilling our mind and allowing ourselves to be more in the present moment, releasing any thoughts of the past or plans for the future. And then, as our part of our yoga practice, we're incorporating the yamas and the niyamas. So this time we're on the third niyama, which is called tapas. And tapas can be translated as self-discipline. In the book by Deborah Adele, she says tapas literally means heat and can be translated as catharsis, austerities, self-discipline, spiritual effort, change, or transformation. Tapas has the sense of cooking ourselves in the fire of discipline to transform ourselves into something else. It is our determined effort to become someone of character and strength. Tapas eventually changes our nature, turning us into a cauldron that can withstand any of life's challenges. Tapas is the day-to-day choice to burn away unsupportive habits of the body and mind, choosing to forsake momentary pleasure for future rewards. If that idea of tapas speaks to you and you'd like to use it today as an intention for your practice, you might just imagine whatever intention you want to set today as a little flickering flame at your heart center. And then when you're ready, we'll all meet up on your back if that feels comfortable for you. You could spread your arms to the sides, just clearing away anything that's in your way. And then maybe it might feel good to make a few snow angel arms, reaching the fingertips past the ears, stretching the spine long, And then as you exhale, clearing away anything at your sides, making this space for yourself. And as you're clearing away the sides of your body around you, maybe that it is part of your intention is to clear space for yourself, clearing time out of a busy schedule, allowing yourself those rainy days to stay inside and take it slow. Maybe it's clearing away negativity, negative thoughts, rumination. And the next time your fingertips float up above your head, we'll go ahead and bring them up towards the sky, and then you can rainbow them down towards your hips. So this time we'll clear out in front of us, rainbowing the fingertips up and overhead, exhaling to rainbow them back down. Maybe using our imagination to see this glittering rainbow overhead and just allowing yourself a moment to delight in that joy. Maybe as you flutter the hands towards the hips, you want to stretch through the neck by just lifting the head, tucking the chin, peeking up at your knees, and then soften your head back down, sweeping the arms back up and overhead. Maybe you do a few more rounds, and if it feels okay for the head, you could continue to lift the head as you lower the hands. The next time your hands float up and overhead, you can go ahead and goal post the arms out, stretching the elbows out in either direction. And then take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, we'll close the arms together just like a book, bringing the elbows and the forearms towards each other. And then inhale, open the arms, lifting the heart. Go ahead and take a few more rounds like this if it feels good. Taking it at your own pace and working with your own range of movement. Take one more nice deep breath. Close the elbows together, and then we'll open the chest. And you can allow the hands to just rest at the sides now. Give yourself a moment to relax. And then you can walk the feet as wide as the mat. Allow the knees to begin to float a little bit side to side. Maybe turning the gaze in the opposite direction. Once more, sense into your spine. Maybe imagine your breath massaging along the spinal columns, finding a little bit more space and fluidity there. And then from here, we'll come back up to center. You can hug your knees into your chest, and if you'd like more space, you can always go ahead and wrap the strap around your shins, and that could provide a little bit more space for the arms, for the belly. Give yourself a nice big hug and maybe float your nose up towards your knees, curling into a little ball. And then on your next exhale, we'll set the head back down. Go ahead and bring the hands now to the sides of the body so you can be kind of like not directly out at a T, but maybe not directly next to the hips, somewhere halfway in between. And then we'll allow the knees to float over to the right side, Allow them to hover there. And then we'll inhale, bring the knees back in towards the chest. And then as you exhale, you can hover the knees to the opposite side. Go ahead and take a few more rounds of breath like this, following the pace of your own breath. We'll take one more nice deep breath on each side. And the next time your knees float over to the left, let's go ahead and drop them to the left. And you can open your arms now out into a letter T. So you're finding hopefully a nice twist through the side waist, nice spinal twist on our back. Maybe you send your gaze over towards your right hand. And then on your next inhale, you can float the right fingertips up towards the sky. And as you exhale, roll onto your side, reaching your right fingertips past your left. And then you can glide the hand across the chest, caressing your chest and arm, and then opening back up into the twist. You can go ahead and take a few more rounds like this if you like. And then you can soften back into your twist. Or if you'd like to do a little bit of strengthening for your side waist, we could do a few oblique um, strengthening here by bringing the hands to cradle the head. And then while you're here, if this stretch feels good, you might take your thumbs and just gently massage the base of the skull, the neck. And then, if you'd like, on your exhale, you can begin to use the strength of your core and your side waist to lift your nose up towards the sky. Inhale to soften everything back down. And then, taking your own pace, take your own time. Maybe you try a few more, exhaling to lift the head as you feel the strength of your side waist. And inhale to lower. This is where we might feel a little bit of heat, that tapas. And if we think about the place in the body where we can generate heat, that's our will, that's our third chakra, which we call our solar plexus. So we can think about how we can execute our will here, creating some strength, some heat. When you feel ready, you can let all of that go. Allow yourself to relax and find some ease, softening all of your effort. Yoga is about finding that balance. We say the balance of effort and ease, so giving ourselves that opportunity to rest. I think that's often something we overlook as being necessary. When you're ready, you can bring your right hand to your hip. We'll roll all the way onto the left side. And then this is where I might like a blanket or a block for underneath the head. Or you could also prop yourself up on your elbow. So it's like I have my elbow right underneath my head and I'm cradling my hand on my head, or my head on my hand. That's what that is. We'll go ahead and glue the heels together and we're going to do some clamshells to wake up through the hips. So go ahead and inhale to open the top knee, exhale to lower. You could also anchor yourself with your top hand, taking some nice deep breaths and imagining this practice that we have, our practice of self nurturing discipline. knowing that our knees will thank us by providing some strength to the glutes. So once you feel that tapas, the heat, if enough is enough, whenever that comes, you can soften your effort. You might give your hip a little tap, or I like to slide the knees back and then bring the top knee down to the ground. It feels like a nice stretch for the hips for me. If you want to kind of turn this into a twist, you could bring your top hand to your shoulder. That's my right hand. And then just allow your shoulder to sort of sink back. And then this would be a little bit extra, but it could feel good to unfurl the hand. And there's your bottom foot right behind you. Maybe you could lasso it with a strap, or perhaps your hand could grasp hold of your foot. But if you're getting a cramp or anything, just don't go this far. So just allow yourself to relax wherever you are. I've heard this stretch referred to as cat chasing its tail. And for me, I feel that with my hand on my foot, just reaching for it. You give your foot a little squeeze, maybe pick one toe to give a little massage, like your, what was that? The little piggy song. And then you can let go of the foot. We'll roll onto the back side. And one more time, just hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a moment to recalibrate. Maybe rock a little side to side or draw some circles with the knees. And then we're going to get ready to do that whole sequence on the other side. So that's why I'm switching around. You don't have to switch around. You can stay right where you are. From here, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe wrap your nose up towards your knees. And then softly set your head back down. We'll go ahead and bring the arms out next to us at 45 degrees. So that's that halfway point between directly at your hips and directly out at the sides. And then you can go ahead and hover the knees over to the left this time. Inhale to bring them back to center. And then exhale, you can go as far as feels good to you, using the strength of your core to bring the belly back, or bring the knees back, and the belly too, really. If you want to make this a little more challenging this time, you might kick the top leg long. So a little karate kick. On each side. Let's take one more nice deep breath on each side. And then when you're ready, you can soften your knees over to, what side is that? That's the right. Yes. And we'll open the arms out into a letter T. Go ahead and gaze over at your opposite hand, finding a nice twist, allowing yourself to soften onto the mat. On your next inhale, you could lift your left hand up towards the sky. And as you exhale, reach it over, reaching your hand long past your other hand. Go ahead and inhale, sweep your arm across your chest, opening back up into a twist. We'll take a few more rounds like this, just following the pace of your own breath. You can follow your fingertips with your gaze. And the next time You open back up into your twist. Go ahead and bring your fingertips maybe to cradle your head. And you might just stay right here. Maybe you use your thumbs to massage the base of your skull, the sides of your neck. And then on your next exhale, you might lift your head, finding the strength for your side waist. Inhale to soften that effort, and then exhale. Maybe you lift using the strength of your core. Take a few more rounds, following the pace of your own breath. Take one more nice deep breath like this. And then you can soften all of that effort, relaxing, feeling held by the support of the earth. And then we'll roll all the way onto your side. You could cradle your head on your hand, bending your elbow to support your head, or find a little pillow for your head. And we'll take a few rounds of clamshells, gluing the heels together. You can inhale, lift the knee, exhale to gently lower. Go ahead and take a few more rounds, following the pace of your own breath. Finding that little bit of heat, or maybe a bit of heat, and allowing your breath to circle the hip with gratitude. If you notice differences from left to right, you might just allow yourself some compassion and curiosity. When you're ready, you can pause that effort and maybe bring your fist to your hip, giving a little massage. You could try that cat chasing its tail and slide the knees back, lifting the top knee, allowing it to lower to the floor or maybe to a block or pillow if that's too extreme. And then bring your hand to your shoulder, allow your chest to open, your shoulder to sink back if you want to try this twist. Maybe holding onto your head for support. And you might stretch your hand down, grasping hold of that foot or using a strap, or just reaching in that direction. Allow yourself this moment in time to settle, breathing into sensation. Take one more nice deep breath here, and then you can find a little toe and give it a little squeeze, a little massage. Release your foot, and then roll onto your back, giving yourself one more nice hug, hugging the knees in, massaging through the spine, maybe taking some rotations with the knees, finding a little massage for the low back. And you can go in one direction and then reverse the direction. Next, we'll move to seated. So you can either roll onto one side and press yourself up into a seat, or go ahead and rock and roll up and down the length of your spine, and we'll find a comfortable seated position. So it can be helpful to bring a pillow or blanket underneath the seat. And maybe you want to sit cross-legged, or maybe you want to sit in a chair. And then take a moment to soften your gaze or close down your eyes, bringing your gaze inside. Maybe you could travel your gaze all the way down into your heart center. Notice that flickering flame. On your next exhale, go ahead and bow your head towards your heart. And then as you inhale, we'll bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. As you exhale, bow your head once more. And then as you inhale, you can bring the opposite ear over to the opposite shoulder. And go ahead and find a few more rounds of breath just like this. Exploring sensation, allowing yourself a moment to pause any places that might need extra attention. And then the next time your right ear falls over towards your right shoulder, you could pause there for a moment. And then you might stretch your left arm out to the left or tuck that hand behind you. And you could start a few little bit of head rotation. So maybe you start nodding your head yes. You might think of something you want to say yes to. And then take a moment to pause, and you can start to gently shake your head no. And as you do this movement, maybe you can bring to mind something you'd like to practice saying no to. And then find stillness once more. We'll bring both hands into the lap, bow your head towards your heart, and then we'll sweep the left ear over towards the left shoulder. You could pause here and maybe you find that little bit of head nod. You might extend the right fingertips out to the side or tuck the hand behind you. And then you can find your gentle no nods, gently shaking the head no. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then once your chin comes down towards your shoulder, you can bow your head towards your heart, release both hands into your lap, and then we'll lift the gaze gently to center. Take some shoulder rolls if that would feel good, bringing the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale to allow them to cascade down the back. Take a few more rounds just like this. Maybe it would feel good to toggle one shoulder at a time. And then we'll reverse the direction. So if you were toggling in one direction, you can toggle one shoulder up and down and around. And then maybe you sync up the movement, drawing the shoulder blades to kiss at your back, and then bringing the shoulders up and down and around. One more time, just like this. As you exhale, release any tension from the shoulders. If you're wanting to stay seated for cat and cow, you can stay right where you're at. Or if you'd like to come to hands and knees, feel free to take a blanket to pad underneath the knees. And we'll stack the knees underneath the hips, the hands underneath the shoulders. So I might take a blanket just to make a little bit of padding for underneath the knees. And remember, you can always do this from a seat, from a chair. It might feel good to tuck the toes under just to find a little stretch through the undersides of the feet, and or keep them untucked. Either way, we can inhale to lower the belly, lift the heart through the biceps for cow pose, and then exhale to round into the spine for cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds of cat and cow, following the pace of your own breath. After a few rounds of cat and cow, it might feel good to explore some other movements. Maybe drawing a big circle with the belly button. Imagining you're carving out the inside of a hula hoop. If you find any places that need special attention, you could always pause there for a breath. And then when you're ready, go ahead and reverse the direction of your circles. Tuning your awareness into the sensations in your body and marveling at the design of your intricate spine. Take one more nice deep breath wherever you're at, and then we'll find a child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch, opening the knees out wide, sink the hips back, and you can walk the hands out in front. You could always use a pillow underneath the body here as support, and maybe bring one cheek to rest on that pillow. If you're resting one cheek on the pillow, you can lift your head and turn your gaze in the opposite direction. Allowing yourself to tune into your breath. Take another nice deep breath. From here, we can come back up into a tabletop. You can slide your right leg back, tuck your toes under, press your heel towards the mat, finding some length through the back of your leg. Sending your breath down towards your heel. And then from here, you might kickstand the right or the left foot behind you so that you're opening up onto your side into a bit of a side plank. Side plank maybe on your knee. And then on your next exhale, we'll close that side down, come back to hands and knees. We're going to try the other side. So sliding that leg back, tuck your toes under, press your heel towards the mat. Finding length down the back of the leg, sending your breath towards your heel. And then we can find this side plank on the other side if you like, so we can kickstand that foot over to the side, come onto the inseam of that foot, and then reach the top hand up towards the sky. A little bit of a side plank. You might gaze upward. And then on the next exhale, bring the hand down, come back to hands and knees. And if you'd like, you can try a downward facing dog, any that you like. So you might tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back, stretch long through the spine, and maybe pedal the heels, sashaying the hips a little bit side to side. From here, we'll bend the knees, allow the knees to hover over the earth for a moment, finding that little bit of strength, that quiver, the heat, and then soften your feet to the ground. We're going to be coming onto the bellies next. So you might come onto your forearms to give your wrists a little bit of a break. And then you could walk your knees back. And right now, you might find yourself in a forearm plank on your knees. You could tuck one set of toes under, one foot under, or the other one at the same time, or back and forth. And then whenever you want to rest, go ahead and lower the belly down onto the ground. We'll stretch the legs back, untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, and then plant the elbows underneath the shoulders for Sphinx pose. Take a nice deep breath here, lifting the heart, dragging the hands gently back. And you might turn your gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale, turn the gaze to forward, and then as you exhale, turn the gaze over the opposite shoulder. Bring the gaze back to center, and then stack the palms, bringing the elbows wide, and lower your forehead down onto the back of your hands. You might bend the knees and allow the heels to gently sway from side to side. From here, we'll bring the feet back down to the ground. You can plant the palms underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, and press up to tabletop. And then either find a downward dog, or we'll all meet eventually in a forward fold. And so for the downward dog, I might bring 2 blocks, would be another way to do this. So I can bring my 2 blocks onto the low setting, and then tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back. And then I can see that I'm going to want my blanket out of the way. So you can walk your hands to your feet, or your feet towards your hands, and eventually we'll come into a forward fold. Go ahead and plant your palms on the blocks or on your shins, and we'll inhale to lift up halfway, exhale to forward fold. Try that 2 more times. Inhale to lift the spine, lengthen, draw the belly button in towards the spine to support the core. And then exhale, allow it to go, forward fold. Let's try that one more time. We call this Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, Uttanasana. On your next inhale, you can spring load the knees, sweep the hands out to the sides, and we'll rise to stand, drawing the hands to meet at the heart center. Inhale, sweep the hands up towards the sky, draw the hands into the heart. And one more time. From here, we'll arrive in our mountain pose, Tadasana. You can reach, let your hands rest at your sides, let your feet ground down onto the earth, and maybe take a moment to close down the eyes or soften the gaze. Once more, turning inward, you could bring your hands to rest on your heart. Feel the rhythm and the beat of your heart. And then when you're ready, we'll blink the eyes open, and we're going to do some work with chair pose, which is called Utkatasana. It's a fierce pose, and it is going to require some core strength. So we'll imagine you're going to sit in a chair. You might bring your hands to your hips, or maybe you reach them back and just see what is required. Can we use the strength of our core to sit back a little bit? And then from here, we'll lift up, straighten the legs, and you can start to lift the heels a little bit. On your exhale, lower the heels, sink back into your chair, and then we'll come back up to our bird pose, lifting the heels. On your exhale, lower. This time you might bring your hands to meet at your heart, and we'll stay in our chair, and it could be high up. You could challenge yourself to go a little lower. We're going to find a little twist here from our chair. So go ahead and sweep the left arm down towards your hip and then open it out in front. Reach both arms long and away from each other. On your next exhale, we'll come back into center. And then on your next inhale, you can open back up into the twist on the other side. Exhale, bring the hands back to the heart. And maybe one more twist on each side. Finding the pace that makes sense to you for your breath. I don't know. I feel like it felt so good, the twist. I kind of want to do it one more time. I'm noticing makes a little bit more sense to exhale as I twist. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the other side. And of course, you could also do this twist standing. You wouldn't have to be in your chair, or you could literally do it sitting in a chair. We'll come back to center, and once more, take a moment to tune into your breath. Tune into the beating rhythm of your heart. Take a moment to release your hands down to your sides, and we'll work on a standing balance. So for today, I thought we could try dancer pose. For balance, remember that you can always use support of a wall or chair. So I have a chair right here. And this is really kind of a quad stretch. So I'm gonna bring my right hand to the chair for support. I'll bring my left hand as if I'm serving a platter of food out to the left, and then sweep that hand around so my palm is ready to catch my foot. So this is totally optional, and you could use a strap to wrap around your foot. So I'm going to catch my foot, the inside of my foot, with my hand. And you could really stay right here. Maybe it'd be easier if I showed it this way. So catching the foot with the hand. Really, this is a very nice stretch for your quad. Kind of similar to what we were doing in cat chasing its tail. And then if you'd like to work on balance a little bit, you can start to sort of tip yourself forward as you kick your foot into your hand, keeping your hand on the chair or reaching that hand up, which is really hard to do if you haven't been doing it. So I'm catching my foot with my hand and maybe even just stopping right here or starting to lean forward, kicking my foot into my hand. We call this dancer pose. When you're ready, you can release your foot back down. Take a moment to pause in your mountain pose, maybe tuning in with your heart rate, tuning in with your breath. And then we'll get ready to do it on the other side. So I'll just move my chair over to this side. Hold on with one hand and face the camera so you can see me. Pick up my foot. So from here, you could dial that right hand out. There's my palm ready to receive my foot. Any amount. Kick it up into your hand if you like. And maybe just staying right here. Or just like a teapot, you can start to lean a little bit forward, kick your foot into your hand. We call this dancer pose. You might challenge your balance by letting go of the object that's helping you balance, but knowing that it's right there for support whenever you need it. When you're ready, we'll release that and then just let it all go, shaking it off, leaving it behind in the past. And just remembering this is a practice and we can allow ourselves the opportunity to play. When you're ready, you can come back to standing in your Tadasana mountain pose, turning your gaze inward towards that flickering flame at your heart center. And then when you're ready, we'll blink the eyes open. We're going to get ready to come onto the mat. And we have a special request for figure 4 pose with the support of the wall or some furniture. So if you're needing to get yourself close to a wall, I'm going to just be using the bed to demonstrate. But feel free to come down to the ground any way you like. We'll start out on our seats. So feel free to just make your way onto your seat. And then from here, we'll bring the feet out in front. You can reach the hands out and maybe find a little boat pose, Navasana, allowing the heart to lift. You could even support yourself with your hands behind you or behind your thighs. So finding your version. And then when you're ready, we'll roll onto the back. Walk your hands up onto your backs of your thighs or up onto your ankles or your feet. And you might find happy baby pose. Maybe allowing yourself to gently rock a little bit side to side. And then when you're ready, we'll release the feet down to the mat and then find your bit of support. So if you're going to use a wall, you might shimmy up to that wall so that your feet can touch the wall, forming basically a 90-degree angle. So your knees are pretty much stacked over your hip. You can also get a little bit closer if you want the stretch to be deeper. We'll extend the right leg long, bring the left ankle on top of the right thigh, and then you can draw the shape into the body. And what I love about using the wall is you don't have to tuck your hands behind, like I would, some people bring their hands to weave behind their thigh. But that idea of balancing effort and ease feels like an invitation to notice where I can soften my effort and balance with my ease. If you want to deepen the stretch, you might take your left hand to your left thigh and gently push it away, maybe flexing the toes towards the knee, helping to engage a little bit and finding some resistance. Take one more nice deep breath. And then you can extend that leg long, extend both legs long, maybe rotate the ankles, the wrists, and then we'll find the other side, bringing the right ankle to rest on the left thigh, drawing the shape into the body, bending that right knee, or well, both knees really. You could flex your toes towards your knee. You could even press the right thigh away with your right hand. Just allowing yourself a moment to notice. Notice if there's a difference on your left side versus your right side. And this pose actually gets at some of the similar areas of the body as pigeon pose. So that would be another option. Take one more nice deep breath on this side. And then if you are at a wall space or by a couch, you might stay here for a gentle inversion. So what I'd like to do is come out of that shape and then get a little bit closer to either the wall or the couch, and then allow the legs to rest either up the wall so that the feet are stretched upward, or if you're at a couch, maybe your legs rest over that cushion. Giving yourself a moment to settle and soften. And I do like to give you some choice time before your final resting pose, Shavasana. So maybe it's this legs up position. And in yoga, they say this is so good for our lymphatic system because our lymphatic system doesn't actually have any sort of mechanism to move the fluids through. So it requires things like bouncing on a trampoline or dry brushing or inversions like this help move our lymph fluid. Apparently, I'm not a doctor, but this is what they say. Allow yourself this moment of time for stillness. Practice receiving support. Allowing yourself this time to soften. If you find that your thoughts In your monkey mind, become busy thinking about the future or the past. You might just allow yourself to come back into the present moment. Allowing yourself to receive the support of the earth and feel the hug of gravity. Notice if you can soften your forehead, the hinge of your jaw. Whether we practice tapas, self discipline, by showing up on our mat for a regular posture practice, or through constant acts of selfless service, we offer ourselves to the next higher version of us. We willingly stand the heat so that we might produce a luscious bounty with our lives. You can begin to deepen your breath, imagining for a moment your body lying on a grassy field or a sandy beach. Notice the unique impression that only you can make. Practice feeling the support from beneath you. Sense the warm embrace of gravity. Feel the flickering flame at your heart space, and allow yourself to toss anything that no longer serves you into that little bonfire, growing the flame, feeding the fire. Allow your mind's eye to follow the plumes of smoke up into the sky, out into the stars. As your imagination wanders out into the universe, take a moment to appreciate, find gratitude and awe and wonder. What an amazing miracle it is to be here today, alive in this unique time and place. Practice feeling that immense joy over gazing down this gifted form that you get to inhabit. And then allow your awareness to flutter like a graceful butterfly back down into your heart space. What would gratitude at your heart look like? As you deepen your breath, sense whatever your imagination is giving you in the form of gratitude at your heart and allow it to expand down into your fingers and down into your toes. You can gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and rotate your wrists and your ankles. And then allow yourself to take a long body stretch, reaching your arms past your ears. You can roll onto one side and find a fetal position there. Take some nice deep breaths, cradling yourself. And then when you're ready, you can press yourself up into a seat. You might invite your hands to meet at your heart center. Maybe you allow your head to gently bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and privilege to guide you through your practice today. Thank you so much for being here with me. And we say, the light in me sees and honors the light in each and every one of you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which means peace, peace, peace.